Hello everybody and welcome back to Light Crusader. You know what? It's been like, 6 years since we did this game? Let's revisit it, why not?
So
and
this game spawn a series?
No, it's the one game of its series. And this had to bring in Jova so we can get a new perspective.
It's one-offs on the Genesis
wow.
and the Sega had.
1995, one of the best years for media in general, and the year I was born.
Alright, so Light Crusader is... I like what it says in the bottom, by the way. Computer designed by Treasure. This game was computer designed. Go ahead, Lips.
I shall have my revenge for what they have all done to me. I shall never forgive them for...
Not for nothing, Treasure. Not for nothing, Treasure, but showing us that scene completely with no context tells us nothing.
It's captivating the mystery.
Jova, I know why they gave him that
The
bad
tail.
haircut.
Oh,
I'm
that's supposed to
David,
be
a
a guy.
swordsman in the service of King Frederick. After a long journey, the king invited me to take a holiday in nearby Green Row.
That's the town.
Whatever you say, David Bowie.
Character and background art by H.U.G.9. Character art by Oginon? Character art by K. Shindo, whoever he is.
Why is the font like we're playing
Gone.
Whatever. It had been a while since I was last in Green Row. I look forward to returning.
That animation of him riding the horse is a bit questionable, but whatever. Sound directed by Nazo Squared Suzuki.
Why is
Go ahead,
it
Liz.
not like we're playing
Music by Akihata. Dwebs, you know who Akihata is, right?
She's involved recently in the Love Live anime
Like
series.
Shinosuke Murata? What?
Go ahead.
When I arrived, Green Row felt odd. The townspeople seemed to be
Isometric!
frightened or something.
Alright. Sir David, I'm pleased to see you. You've traveled a great distance.
When I asked what had been happening in Green Row, got that portrait, King Widden began to tell the most amazing story.
A lot
King.
of people have been disappearing recently. The townspeople fear some magic spell may have been cast. That's a generic line. You are such a gifted swordsman, Sir David.
Whoa, where did that come from?
Please search for the missing people.
I certainly will. You know, King Boy, if a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Alright, so here's the one thing about, you can actually, if you hit the NPCs, the word oops will show up. And, go ahead, Jova.
Or elements will give you magic powers.
And yes, Jova, just like in Avatar The Last Airbender. Go on.
Be careful and go on your way.
Yeah, did I mention that this game hold on. How much longer will these anxious days continue? No, did I mention that David is also the Avatar? Go ahead, Jova.
Please save us.
Dwebs, you can be this guy.
The king cannot sleep at night because of these events.
These portraits, I forgot.
Not just that. Yeah. There you go. Also, you can also push the NPCs like the options.
Right, you know what? You know what, King? You're coming with me. It's your king. Sleep the people.
Yeah. I was about to ask this. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, can you actually move? Can you actually move people all the way out?
No. They stay contained in the room that you're in.
Come on!
No, wait,
Reinforcements!
He's apparently okay now. Wow, okay, I
is
have to
that
wonder.
kind of Elder Scrolls player.
So, I see the oops, so like, does hitting these people like make you lose
will be
points
okay.
or something?
No, it just does the oops thing. Everything will be... Are you sure about that?
So basically, you're allowed to mess with these people's lives to no consequence.
Yeah.
And again, think of it, Joe, just from this initial thing. This is a Sega IP.
Say
Joe.
point.
Imagine if this guy showed up in Project Cross Zone.
Okay, Paige, you can let me know when that quote comes up.
He's just, honestly, in a way, this guy seems like he could
The what?
be Project
When
Crossover
what comes up, Dips?
So the riddle.
Oh, that. No, that's gonna be a while before we get that, Dips. Jova, please.
If you lose your way, please consult the Oracle.
who may be able to help you.
Yeah, yeah, the princess is full of shit on that, by the way. The Oracle never tells you anything useful.
Let me guess, he's that typical Oracle who can never tell you anything straight because of how he is
It's like in
cursed.
Ultima 9, where the fortune teller tells you, your knowledge of the land shall be great when it's small.
Well, Pedro, she did say may be able to help.
I guess. Anyway, taking a cue from Zelda, the red potion will heal all your health. Yeah, basically, your healing items are your typical food, like in Kuni. You can also go to options to check damage number, which just shows the number of damage, which is fun. And I'm going to turn off the auto item option because I want to be able to only use the items when I want to. You also have the equipment. As you can see, there's a select number of equipment you can get, and the map. The map screen, for the most part, is just kind of useless, so I rarely use it. Yeah. So, White Crusader is a dungeon crawling action RPG, everybody, that takes cues from various games of the genre. Zelda,
Mentioned here
Ultima.
Stalker, which was also on the Genesis.
Alright, I'll be this one. Oh, sorry. Who is he? I'll get him. By that she means whoever's kidnapping the people. And I love it. This bit, if you stay here. Don't touch the fire, you'll get burned. Yeah, as you're starting to realize, the dialogue in this game is generic as all hell.
I gotta wonder, does this game have any big following behind it? Because I'm surprised that I have not seen memes get out of this game.
Well, the game did get a virtual console re-release, and if I remember correctly, I think the recent Sega Mega Drive collection on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One has it, if I remember correctly. Because Sega owns this game.
On the
it's on the Plus
go ahead, Lips.
From last year.
Someone is disturbing the souls of the deceased. Evil now rests from the grave.
Ooh.
Rise from your grave. And yeah, that's it.
You can even move the Oracle.
This game also did get a release on the Mega Drive Mini.
Yeah.
It was, it was part of the initial wave.
My guess is Jova. Sorry. This game has at the very least another following for Sega to keep re-releasing it, so there must be some kind of an audience for this.
You have to understand, Jova, that the thing about the Genesis is that there was a huge quantity of IPs that were belonging to Sega, but because they were developed by Banner people, but they literally belong still to Sega.
Right. Mommy and Daddy are gone.
But because of their presence, it means that a lot of them can be forgotten. Like
also, is it just me? David's idle animation. It literally looks like he has to take a shit really badly right now.
Okay, like.
And
so
also again, that haircut. Like, I choose to voice
Tail.
like Tommy Wiseau for a reason. My next door neighbor disappeared 3 days ago.
Oh noes.
Hey, vanish, just vanish. Just look at me. Come on, man.
Scary,
isn't it?
Tragedy, ain't it? Go on, Jova.
I honestly really do wonder, because this game feels like something that would definitely fuel a ton of memes.
Also,
with how
that Genesis twang.
Yeah, I love it.
Beauty.
wonderful.
I love it.
I will say this. This definitely feels like a kind of game that definitely could generate memes, because holy cow, is it quirky. Not even necessarily in a bad way.
Hold on. I just entered. You like imagine you enter it and you hey, aren't you gonna buy something? Okay, calm down, dude. I just entered.
Okay, between these and Zelda, what's up with very rude shopkeepers in similar games?
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah, that's all she says.
They have a portrait
wow,
of a guy
this
menacing
music.
someone with a knife.
Dips.
Is it possible for someone to simply vanish into thin air?
I don't know. My missus went off somewhere and never came back.
The twist is she didn't have.
She must have been spirited away. Which is interesting because this game came out before that movie was a thing.
Actually, I'll wait until these dialogues.
Two.
I want a quest to finish this grog. You disappear.
Well, okay. Fuck you too then. Yeah, we already talked to this guy. Joe, but you can be this one.
Listen to me. I saw it.
Did you now?
Yes, I did. A human was falling about in the middle of the night. in the graveyard. The grave, just like the Oracle said. And it wasn't alone. There were 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, they're just the guy searching for lightning, don't worry.
What do you think they were up to?
Well, now we know where to go. To the graveyard.
Ta-da. Also, I forgot, Pedro, how the original title from Spirited Away actually was.
The Journey of Chihiro. It translates out to The Journey of Chihiro. Anyway.
Oh.
Go ahead, Joe, too. What?
I think something extraordinary is going on.
What are you talking about? Yeah, the joke is that the woman is as deaf as a doornail.
Because in my country, that movie is called The Enchanted City.
That's such a generic title.
It really is. I have no idea why it's called like that.
I mean, it's accurate, but...
I mean, it's accurate, but it's so generic, though.
And it's not even close to the original, because most of the other Studio Ghibli titles were actually close to the originals.
Not just that. It's because The Enchanted City can literally describe any generic fantasy movie. That's...
Yeah.
In here we just did a basic translation of the Japanese title, The Journey of Chihiro, basically.
Round here it's called Spirited Away.
Okay,
It's stingy, aren't you?
Stingy?
Your ass is stingy. Wikipedia tells me that the original title more roughly gets translated to Sen and Chihiro Spiriting Away. So in a way, the English version is actually very close to...
Have you seen my child? So yeah.
You know, I think the best way to describe this whole scenario is that it feels very quirky. Like, here's just this random looker of a guy, let's call him, who just strolls into town and is essentially given a job to save the day.
Oh, hold on, Jova.
Okay.
You talk about quirky? Here's another of your characters, Jova. Go on.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry.
Oh! Would you like to hear my music?
With that portrait, I'm not sure.
You'd love to, wouldn't you?
Alright, let's see.
You will? Well, listen then.
Oh boy.
Miss Aki, I'm not sure.
It's supposed to be bad, Tail. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that would make the director's cut of Resident Evil.
Alright, punchline.
It's okay. I'm not particularly talented.
Yeah, no shit.
Is this
Again, it's the same kind of humor we saw in the E-rank music from Sonic Unleashed, you know, like it's intentional. That's
hey, at least she's honest about herself.
Too.
That's nice.
Give me a second. Sorry. People disappear, but works of art remain. Also, those photos in the background. This guy is Matarame. Wasting my time.
Well.
So he's a fraud.
Yeah. And he has a very annoying boss fight.
It's a puzzle to me.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm still there, aren't I?
Oh, I guess so.
So that woman earlier who said her child was missing, I mean, it would help if you gave a description. You're being very vague.
Yeah.
I guess
Welcome to Ted's Inn.
That child has disappeared.
You have 200 GP.
It's 10 GP per night. Would you like to stay? No, not yet. I'm full health right now.
Let me guess. A typical heal up and restore your magic.
Obviously. Why on earth did I ever come to this town? I don't know. You tell me. There you go, Jova.
Yeah.
The 4 elements are air, fire, earth, and water. So there you go. And basically what you do is you can combine the various elements to make various different kinds of spells. For example, if you combine air with earth, you get thunder. So there you go, Jova. David is also the avatar.
But this game doesn't answer the question of what you get if you mix fire and ice.
True. You can mix fire with water.
I'm guessing there's a reason the lineage of the Avatar doesn't include this guy.
Alright. Here we have the farmer, and he has cows, and nothing else. I guess it's a cow farm.
Well done.
Go on.
I hope my cows don't get kidnapped.
Yeah.
By whom? Aliens?
Yeah, probably.
You know what's funny? If Zelda's anything to go by, there can be aliens even in the medieval times.
As well as Earthworm Jim 2. Alright, moving on. Okay. This grave looks very suspicious compared to all the others. There we are. Okay, so like I said, this game is a dungeon crawler, much in the style of something like, say, the Dark Cloud games. There is only one dungeon in this game, and you're constantly going down and down and down and down with each floor, basically.
Wait, really?
Yes.
I see.
You're just constantly going down, Jova. This is not so much a collection of dungeons, it's more so a collection of floors, and at the end of each floor, there's usually a boss battle. And that's how the game works, basically.
I'm guessing the idea is that you can go back to the inn to rest and then go to where you left off.
Yes. You can also save at save point.
From fast travel in case you're worried.
Yeah, there's also a little bit with fast travel. There's also save points, and as you might have already noticed, yes, the game's overall dungeon design works pretty much like a Zelda game. You have various doors. You have locked doors that you need to get small keys for. It works pretty much like a Zelda game pre-Breath of the Wild, basically.
It does seem relatively unique, I will give it that.
This is actually a game that I actually did play back in the day, unlike most people who played it in the re-releases from the Wii and so on and so forth. I actually did I still have my cartridge, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I do. I still have my cartridge.
So can we get a snippet of a manual at some point?
Don't worry, Teo. I'll read the manual later. For now, let's just focus on this.
And of course, we do have
platforming. And as we all know, platforming with the isometric perspective can be a bit, especially because the drop shadow in this game is always blinking, so it's not as prominent as I would like it to be. Alright, moving on.
That said, the music certainly is bopping.
Yeah, you can tell that this composer is experienced and talented because, the music is actually pretty cool. I like the music too. Oh, here's our first rescue. Kratos.
Thank you. I'd almost given up all hope of ever being rescued.
What they were hoping to put you even?
I was captured and brought here by men dressed in black.
Huh.
Be careful, this place is full of demons and traps.
Okay then, thank you.
This track reminds me of one of the tracks in SimCity 3000.
Yeah.
So is the idea that after you free like a townsperson, they'll show up back in like the main field?
Yes, in the town. Yes, for the most part. Some of them do, others don't. I guess the game couldn't really account for all of them. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I forgot already his name, the protagonist.
David.
David.
I'm sorry, David. Thank you for saving me, David. But I'm sorry, I have to go.
Well, that's the thing too. David has all the personality of a wood plank. He gets exactly he never actually has anything to say about much of anything throughout this game.
Combined with the haircut, and that's why I decided to make you sound like Tommy Wiseau.
So he's Tommy Wiseau if he decided to dye his hair blonde.
What a story. Anyway, let me get the manual.
I really need to get looking at the Disaster Artist at some point.
Oh, you should. It's a great movie. It's basically the Ed Wood of the new generation, Jova. By Ed Wood, I mean the film, not the filmmaker. The film by Tim Burton. Alright, here it is. The US manual is on Sega Retro, so we can just read it from here. Let me see.
Surprisingly, the game doesn't seem to be too punishing if you fall into the spikes.
Nah, it's fine.
Well, Joe, we're not operating on Mega Man logic, don't worry.
That being
granted, it only takes a sliver off, so... And again, there's thankfully a pool there that can heal your health
the key
back
component to any dungeon crawler is to have important locations, recurring locations that a player can actually use as landmarks that can orient themselves, as in the save room, the room where you can repeat your health, one dedicated to fast travel. This will carry on eventually to stuff like, say, the Metroid games, Metroidvania stuff.
That being said, and I'm about to post it for everybody to see, maybe the US cover art for this game is really terrible.
I probably use it for the thumbnail because Wikipedia also uses it. David looks, in true tradition when it comes to these covers, David looks nothing like his in-game sprite.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure. Are the zombies when you fight in this game kind of look like the one he's fighting?
The zombies, I guess, look fine. But yeah, David doesn't look anything like that.
He's very bulky.
Alright. Yeah, basically this is a puzzle, and the puzzle consists of, yeah, you have to, that beam of light, you have to point it to the door to open it. Yeah, obviously this is simple as fuck, but trust me, the game will slowly progress the difficulty curve. Right now the game is based, this is the game's way of teaching you how these things work, basically.
Yes, the doors are actually 3D models.
Here's another, by the way, Jova, here's another quirk of this game. Every time you enter a room, the narrator will tell you what you're supposed to do. When you have to beat all the enemies to progress, the game will say, and I quote, beat them. In that exact way. beat them. It's always in that the way he says it, there's just something very unique about the way he says it. Beat them.
I wonder, who even voiced this guy?
Probably one of the developers.
Well, Treasury is like a Japanese studio, isn't it?
Even then, too, remember, Japanese people like to put English in their games, even in terms of speaking.
True, but if you say it was one of the studio, like, I guess simple words in English might have been...
Yeah, it's simple. I mean, beat them is not exactly a hard thing to say, too, so...
We might have had someone in, not necessarily for the studio, but remember, the Asterix arcade game also had someone like that.
Alright, so let's see what...
yes, Jova, that's your easy, cheap strategy for you to use. Basically, that kind of diving attack that David can use.
So, guess what? In the story of the manual, we can actually see what's David's last name. I am David Lander, swordsman in service of my lord, the great King Frederick of Whitewood, which we will never meet. I have fought with the strangest of creatures and searched for precious treasures, but today I have received the most unusual duty of my entire life. If it is going to return to Whitewood from battle of ogres to the south, King Frederick informed me that his elder brother, none other than King Whedon of this land of Greenrow, desired my presence. Weary of battle, I thought I was coming for a pleasant rest. How wrong I was. Trembling King Whedon informed me that this townspeople have been disappearing daily. None of the astrological charts reveal anything. Not even the king's own oracle can provide the answer, so it's a shitty oracle. Greenrow has always been a safe and charming land, not any longer. I must find out what is happening to King Whedon's people and return them. Something very evil is at work.
I mean, it's
G, David. Think so? I love how absolutely delightful. Again, it's like we're playing Kadash again. The writing in this game is so generic.
Kadash, huh?
Remember Jova, thank you for the important thing. But yeah, to this game's credit, the translation is actually competent, unlike with Kadash.
Yeah, but the moving object thing also was kind of a sort of a main tutorial for this. You can do that even in the dungeon.
Yeah, the game is basically doing the Mega Man X thing. It's using in-game stuff in the level design to teach you its mechanics, basically.
Wait a minute, Kadash. Wasn't that god-awful arcade porting game?
Yeah, that arcade RPG with the thank you for the important thing, Joe. Don't you remember that?
Oh, God, I remember terrible... The sad thing is I remember the terrible gameplay more, because, woof!
I don't know, that translation, that beautiful, terrible translation was hilarious to me. But anyway...
I'm just going off of what I remembered from it. Oh! Evil Lily Pads?
Hold on. He said it, everybody! He said it! we have to hear that again.
The way he says it. Answer the riddle.
I wonder what I have to do.
Answer the riddle.
Alright, and the riddle consists of turning on all those 4 lights. That's it.
Again, we're early on, so it fares enough of it. The puzzle.
Alright, and now you want to talk about how quirky this game is? Here's the thing. Meet the cat shopkeeper. What do you do with this guy? If you want to sell your items for money, items that you don't need, you sell it to this cat. How the hell does this cat have money to give you in exchange of items? I don't know. He just does.
Honestly, I assume that you pay him with the fish line around the area.
And yes, that's all it says. Meow.
The fish is right there, man. The cat just go get it.
So there you go. Consider this Shiro's cameo in this playthrough.
So
Lady not appearing in this title.
So the way you make money is by selling your items to a random cat.
Of
Yes.
course.
And the game will, by the way, will never explain what this cat is even doing here.
You know, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. This might be one of the weirdest games I've seen.
Oh no, this game is clearly this is one of the things about this game. This maybe was made in a much more innocent time, back when developers generally didn't really care much for context and just put in whatever. No logic be logic be damned, you know.
There you go, first boss.
We're fighting a heart with an eye on top.
It's more like a, you know, like not necessarily a sponge, but those kind of, you know, creature from the deep.
Again, Zelda logic. Attack the eye, basically. Yeah.
Jesus, those balls are flying everywhere.
There you go. Did you notice what there was a set? That's another feature. When you're near death, the narrator will say, "It's gonna kill you."
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. Basically, let's recap. Oh yeah, there you go. Wind, earth equals thunder. So there you go, everybody. Turns out all Aang had to do. So there you go, Job. All Aang had to do to learn lightning bending is to mix his earth bending with his air bending. There you go. See.
That being said, as you can see, the bosses are very spongy despite everything.
It depends on the boss too. The first couple, I will argue that the first couple of bosses are actually some of the hardest in the game. They actually do get easier after this, actually, if you ask me. And don't worry, it's not too. Don't worry. As long as you stock up on healing items, you'll be able to basically just cheese through most of these bosses. Because remember, you can pause the game at any moment and use your inventory whenever. Okay, it's kind of like Nier Automata, where you can go on.
It seems to be a very forgiving game given the time it came out. Honestly.
Well, keep in mind this kind of game was not exactly the super popular thing in the West just yet. Because remember, this game came out back when platformers were the dominating genre. Obviously, this kind of game is very passé by today's standards because RPGs and dungeon crawlers have become much more prominent. But back in 1995, when the platformer was the dominant genre, this was not that much of a common thing for us to get in the West. In consoles, because on PCs we had stuff like the Ultima series, but on consoles this wasn't the norm usually.
Again, I'm mainly surprised because of the difficulty or lack thereof. I mean, okay, it's not like this is uber easy, but again, for a game made in a part where we were still in the era of the Nintendo hard turn.
Again, Jova, it is comparative to Landstalker, which was again another game for the Genesis with a similar vibe when trying to copy Zelda. But specifically mentioned that this game is much easier in comparison.
Yeah.
Now I guess the question would be: is this game too easy and forgiving?
I will argue the difficulty is fine. I mean, it's not too hard and not too easy. I mean, it's not like you trust me. Like if I haven't been paying attention to my health with the hell.
Every time David beats a boss, he does that pose.
Not to mention it heals all of his HP, and you get a maximum life, aka a heart container, Zelda style. So yeah, you can tell Zelda was a big inspiration for this. So here go on.
I don't mind it supposedly being easier than the game of the norm because again, if anything, it seems like it can be just a game that you just chillax and have a good time with if you want.
Yeah, it is. I actually agree with that. So here are the basic, another red potion. So here's the other basic clips of audio clips we have. So we have beat them, when you have to beat all the enemies. We have, like this so very accurately said, answer the riddle. And of course, when David is near death, it's gonna kill you. However, we have one more, but here's the fun thing. There's actually another primary audio clip. Well, actually, hold on. I think, might as well explain this first. That water, wait, did I actually? Oh, I forgot. I actually already went through there.
You're probably gonna go for the other door.
There's also a congratulations. I actually forgot what was the other one that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the fountain. Yeah, because I don't think I actually explained this. The fountain heals your health. So basically, if you ever need a refill of health, you can go back to wherever the fountain of that floor is. So keep that in mind.
You have to traverse spikes to get there.
Yeah, you do. But the reason I didn't I wasn't very careful there because I knew there was a button right at the end of that, so I didn't. There was no real need for me to be careful with my health there. So, yeah. So that's the basic gist of it. Yeah. Answer the riddle. Yeah, that's something that both me, Teo, and Dwebs really took from this game a lot. That answer the riddle audio clip is just like. There's just something unique about the way this game says things like beat them, answer the riddle, or the it's gonna kill it. And I've made a constant joke with Terry. Imagine if From Software games were like this, where every time you're near death, it's gonna kill you. And it was like we'd be hearing that constantly. All right, everybody. To the next time, where hopefully we'll be able to figure out what is that something evil that David thinks is afoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.